If you were to ask me what the one thing is that we can control 100% to improve garden productivity, my answer would be the soil. While there are many other factors like sunlight, space, weather conditions that are mostly out of our control, we can choose the soil that we use in our garden wisely. The health of our plants can be directly correlated to the health of the soil that they grow in. That being said, one of the most frequently asked questions on my channel is, what soil do I use for vegetable gardening? How do I mix my soil? Where do I buy the soil from? So I decided to make a dedicated video on this topic. Hope this is going to help you. In this video, I'll explain to you what soil medium I use for growing crops throughout their life cycle, that is right from sowing seeds to intermediate transplanting and finally planting them outside. Let us start with the first stage, that is sowing seeds. 2 years ago, I made a video covering the basics of sowing seeds. In this video, I explained the sowing medium that I use, which consists of a mixture of coco peat and compost, with coco peat dominating the mixture. This is because during germination, the seeds do not require a lot of nutrients. Rather, they need a medium that allows for easy root growth and retains a good amount of water, which coco peat provides. I continue to use the same medium for sowing seeds till date, and it has worked very well for me. For details, you can watch my video on this topic. Next, let us get into intermediate transplanting. Intermediate transplanting is necessary for some crops that are sown close to one another in shallow containers. Once they germinate, they'll start to compete for more space and nutrients. During this stage, the crops need more nutrients and the roots should also be encouraged to grow deep down in search of water and nutrients. To achieve this, I use old soil, meaning soil from last year's gardening, and I mix it with some compost. If you're just starting out, you can also use normal vegetable garden soil that you get from the garden center. In case you want to know more about intermediate transplanting, I have a video which will be linked here. Now let us discuss what soil medium I use for planting the crops outside. Before we get into the details, please understand that there is no perfect recipe for a soil medium that can be used for growing vegetables. I've tried different soil mixes that we get from the garden center, which comes in different names like seed starting mix, soil for raised bed gardening, compost soil, soil for growing vegetables, soil for growing tomatoes and cucumbers. Everything has worked for me to some extent, but today I want to share with you a soil mix that I have liked the most till now for growing vegetables. This is not a new medium that I invented or anything. This is something that I learned from other gardeners, from their books and YouTube videos. I've grown a lot of vegetables in this soil mix till now, and it has given me amazing results. So let us get into the details. As I've shared in an earlier video of mine where I shared the potting mix for indoor gardening, a perfect soil mix should have the following properties. It should be able to hold the plant firmly. That means the soil should not be too loose. It should provide good aeration for the roots of the plant or good drainage. That means the soil should not be too soggy. At the same time, the soil should also have good water retention property. That means it should be able to hold good amount of water that the plant requires. And lastly, the soil medium should have enough nutrients to feed the plants. To hold the plant as a substrate, I'm using compost soil. Next, for good aeration and water retention, I mix it with coco peat and vermiculite. Both have good water retention properties, which means they hold water, at the same time don't make the medium too soggy. Additionally, compost itself has good water retention property. So my mixture is round about 50% compost, 25% coco peat and 25% vermiculite. This is not a fixed formula, and most of the time I just eyeball the quantity of each ingredient until I get the feeling that the mixture is perfect according to the criteria that we discussed before. I've been using this mix in my raised bed and also in containers, and you can notice in the video itself how airy and loose the soil is. There is one more property that the soil medium should have that we have not discussed till now, that is the nutrients for the plants. The compost which we used as a substrate is also a good source of nutrients for the plants. Apart from this, while planting the crops, I mix in a little bit of bone meal, which is supposed to give plants enough strength to grow. I also add some worm castings for additional nourishment for heavy feeders like tomatoes and cucumbers. During summer, I also feed the crops with homemade compost once a month. I leave a link to all these products mentioned in the description box below. As I said before, you need not follow this recipe 100%. You can tweak it and substitute with other ingredients that are locally available for you. And if you're a beginner and you do not want to invest in a lot of products, you can go to the garden center and buy the soil that is available there. That is how I started, and that is how most of us start. This soil mix that I share in this video is taking things one step further. Next, I would like to share with you where I get all these materials from. If I want to buy compost soil in small quantity for gardening in few containers, then the easiest option would be to go to the local garden center. In Germany, all the local garden centers should have soil mix for growing vegetables like Pflanzenmark, Pflanzenkeule, Dana, or any Baumarkt like Obi, Hornbach, or any nearby garden center should offer you the soil that is suitable for growing vegetables. Gardening is so much in trend that you get vegetable garden mix from the local supermarket as well. I've tried it, but it is a little bit soggy for my liking. But if you're just starting out, you can try it as well. In case I want to buy compost soil in large quantity, then the ones from the garden center is going to cost me a lot. After doing a bit of research, I found compost units or waste management units in my area where they produce compost that you can buy. It is so cheap. Last year, I bought around 200 liters of compost for my new garden from a nearby compost facility for just €2. Can you believe that? If you do some research, you can find such facilities locally nearby where you can buy the soil for a very small price or get them even for free. If you are in Germany, just type compost plots in Google and it will show you a plenty of options. I called a few of them to check the availability of compost and when to collect it. From now on, no matter if it is in small or large quantity, I'm planning to get compost from such facilities and mix my own soil because it is really convenient and cheap. And they are of very good quality too. Last year, my garden was flourishing and I was totally happy with it. As for the other products that I mentioned in this video like cocoa peat, vermiculite, bone meal, worm castings, I got them online from Amazon in bulk. I will leave a link to the products in case you want to check them out. My goal in this video was not to make you follow any prescribed formula or make you buy any products, but to share with you some factors you need to consider while choosing soil for growing vegetables at different stages in the life cycle of a vegetable crop, and also share with you where I get my supplies from. When I started out, it took a long time for me to figure out where to buy garden stuffs, especially in a foreign country. If you have still doubts or questions that I couldn't cover in this video, let us discuss in the comments down below. Also, let me know if there are any other specific topics that you would like me to talk about. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye and take care.